The 2010s saw the last remnants of the ruthless aggression era quickly die out, and older stars entered their last days as WWE went full force into the PG era. The decade featured several notable matches that defined the 2010s, standing out as the most important bouts. Compared to the past decades, the 2010s didn't undergo as much change as the longevity for wrestlers extended, and WWE's different eras had less defined aspects and differences. The following are matches that were all hugely important to WWE's history, development, success, or all of the above, rather than just necessarily being the best matches of the 2010s. That may come in a future list. Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club, and here are the 9 most legendary matches of the 2010s. Welcome to the club. In number 9 we have John Cena vs Daniel Bryan from SummerSlam 2013. In a fantastic match of the 2013 edition of the biggest party of the summer, Daniel Bryan beat John Cena clean to become WWE Champion. And then the party was immediately ruined by Triple H, who, through some post-match shenanigans of a pedigree, Randy Orton turned heel to join Triple H. And then there was a Money in the Bank cash-in, and we got the Authority being created, and they would serve as WWE's #1 heel act for at least the next year, and they would plod on for a few more years after that, but they weren't really a respectable heel group after that. Everything, though, from this was wild, as you got Daniel Bryan's wild Yes Movement ride, Triple H's second reign of terror. This led to Seth Rollins' rise as a single main eventer, and that all stemmed from Big Match John putting over Big Match Daniel clean as a whistle in the main event of SummerSlam. In number 8 we have the Royal Rumble match from the Royal Rumble 2014 edition of the show. For both good and bad reasons, this match was very important to WWE. Firstly, this match marks the tipping point for CM Punk in WWE, with his growing angst and injuries leading him to walking out of WWE after his elimination from the Royal Rumble, which sparked a 7-year absence from wrestling and a 9-year absence from WWE, basically a decade from WWE, for one of the biggest stars in the business. Additionally, though, on the more positive side, this match also sparked a changing point for WWE fans, who booed this match off the air due to the fact they wanted Daniel Bryan in the main event scene, and they were only met with a tired returning Batista. They hated this match so much that they even booed Rey Mysterio, who entered in at number 30. That's like booing Santa. The resistance of WWE fans remained true for the months that followed, prompting WWE to change their course on the road to WrestleMania 30 and thrust Bryan back into the world title picture, which resulted in one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time. This Rumble sparked the fire for that moment, and it also proved how powerful the WWE crowd can be. In number 7 we have Brock Lesnar vs The Undertaker from WrestleMania 30. The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania was sometimes the biggest straw at WrestleMania for a decade prior to this match, especially for the past few iterations, which had all been, other than like 28, toilet. And it was often seen as big as, if not bigger than, the title matches on the show. That was definitely the case at 27, and 26, and 25. Not so much 24 or 23. Not 20, yes, 25, 26, and 27. In 2014, though, WWE went for a bold and still controversial move, and when they came for the decision to have Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker's streak. Not only did this change the legacy of the streak, it also changed Undertaker's legacy, and the legacy of WrestleMania forever. And then there's still a debate going on to this day as to whether or not this was a good move, a bad move, whether it was a work, whether it was a shoot, whose decision it was, proving its importance. In number 6 we have John Cena vs CM Punk from Money in the Bank 2011. In the lead up to Money in the Bank 2011, CM Punk's star power was on the rise. However, it wasn't until this all-time classic match that he became a distinct and consistent main eventer with the necessary star power that could match the likes of John Cena at the time. It was this bout that propelled CM Punk to major heights, to the point where he was a draw, a legend in the making, and someone who would be vital to the main event scene for the next few years. This match is not just one of the most important matches of the 2010s for the rise of CM Punk and as a new breed of a main eventer, it's also just a really, really good match and is often regarded as one of the best WWE matches of all times. Moving on from one of the best matches of all times now to one of the worst, as in at number 5 with the Bella Twins vs Paige and Emma from the 23rd of February 2015 edition of Raw. On a forgotten episode of Monday Night Raw in February 2015, a match happened that would kickstart a true drive for change. The card on this edition of Raw featured 6 matches for the men and 1 match for the women, as the Bella Twins defeated Paige and Emma in 30 seconds. Yes, you heard that right, 30 seconds. This absolutely egregious booking decision led to the trend of hashtag Give Divas a Chance that went viral like crazy after this truly diabolical and, to be honest, disrespectful piece of booking. It was one of the key catalysts that led to WWE listening to the fans again and finally gave the women more time. As 2015 went on, big changes were made in the women's division. Some new people were brought up from NXT, most notably Charlotte, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, 3 of the 4 horsewomen, sorry Bayley, and this match was hugely important to that happening, and thus the hashtag Divas Revolution was born. In number 4, we have John Cena versus Brock Lesnar from SummerSlam 2014. Brock Lesnar decimated John Cena in the main event of SummerSlam 2014 in a match that was not only shocking, but also very important to the remaining decade and beyond in WWE. Lesnar beat Cena to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion in a result that would make part-time champions the norm in WWE. Now, I'll give you, The Rock did win the WWE title a year prior. However, fans knew that this was a short-term reign that would end at WrestleMania 29 to John Cena. In the case of Lesnar, this sparked many more reigns, some of which were long-term, but looking at you, Brock and Roman, ruining the main event scene many times over due to not appearing on screen. The likes of Goldberg and Triple H would later become part-time champions during this decade, much to the chagrin of WWE fans. It also had the impact of meaning John Cena got demoted down to the mid-card scene, literally until this year. In number 3 we have Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley from NXT TakeOver Rival 2014. Now, there would be much better matches in NXT's women's division, for example at TakeOver Brooklyn, but this one was so important to the future of all those involved and the women's division in WWE overall. This match was the true creation of the 4 horsewomen of WWE. It elevated Becky Lynch as she'd initially struggled to find her feet, it gave Sasha Banks her first major win, it showcased Charlotte as the best women's wrestler in the world, and it pushed Bayley as an underdog. The success of this match carried all the momentum in several more huge matches in NXT, and then later on in the main roster, where all 4 women would become legends and future Hall of Famers. And somehow, this match remains the only time the 4 horsewomen in NXT would face each other in a fatal 4-way match, as it never got booked on the main roster for some reason. In number 2 we have The Shield vs Team Hell No and Ryback from TLC 2012. WWE made a bold decision by debuting Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose into their main event scene at Survivor Series 2012, so the pressure was on for them to deliver in their first match at TLC. And in one of the best matches of the whole year, The Shield more than delivered. All 3 men looked like instant megastars, as this match sparked the beginning of WWE's next breed of top talent. Reigns and Rollins in particular become vital to WWE's future, and whilst Ambrose would have a bit of importance in WWE, when he became Jon Moxley in AEW, he would become just as important as Reigns and Rollins were to WWE. And in number 1, we have Sami Zayn vs Cesaro from NXT Arrival 2014. In the 2010s, NXT began its life as a reality game show. It then got upgraded to the basically next-gen version of FCW to becoming a touring brand and for a time, the best part of WWE's product. That time was 2018, for those of you asking, and the best beginning of 2019. Things really grew to the next level for NXT in their first live streaming event of NXT Arrival, which needed to be a success to ensure the continued growth of the brand. The biggest highlight of that night was Sami Zayn vs Cesaro. This phenomenal match kicked off the broadcast and made headlines, showing new fans what NXT was set to offer, and opened the doors to a new style being showcased in WWE. This match helped to make this show succeed, and the rest is history for NXT. And there you have it, there's our list. So what do you think? What is the most legendary match of the 2010s in your opinion? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you are new around here. That's all for now, so I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Welcome to the club.